I had the same problem twice this month. A mountain of documents, PDFs, notes, a whole course transcript, and real questions I needed answered fast. So I solved it two completely different ways. First, inside NotebookLM, Google's grounded research notebook, where you load your sources and it only answers from them. Then the way most people default to, a regular AI chatbot where you paste text into the chat box and start asking. Same documents, same questions. Two totally different experiences. Today they go head to head, round by round, setup, learning curve, flexibility, trust, failures, and the one question that actually matters. Which one should you open the next time a pile of files lands on your desk? I'm not going to tell you one is better and walk away because it depends entirely on the job. By the end, you'll know exactly which tool fits which task and why I quietly ended up using both. Quick heads up before round one. I'll cite Google's official pages for anything with a number because limits change and a YouTube video is the wrong place to trust specs. Round 1. Round 1. Setup. With NotebookLM, the first move is loading your sources. You drop in PDFs, Google Docs, pasted text, even a website or a YouTube link, and each one becomes a locked source the notebook will answer from. Here's a concrete number worth knowing. According to Google's official NotebookLM Help page from 2026, a single source can hold up to 500,000 words or a 200 megabyte upload, and on the free tier you can add up to 50 sources in one notebook. So picture dropping an entire course, a long contract, and a stack of research papers into one place. That's genuinely within reach, not marketing. Setup takes a few minutes. Upload, wait for it to process, done. The payoff is that from that moment on, the tool knows your exact material. Try this week. Take 3 PDFs you keep reopening and load them into one notebook. The small friction of uploading up front buys you something the chat box never gives you, a workspace that already read everything before you asked your first question. Same round, the chatbot. There's no setup, and that's the whole appeal. You open the chat, paste in your text or drag a file if it supports uploads, and you're asking questions 10 seconds later. No processing bar, no notebook to create, no sources to manage. When I had one short document and one quick question, this one on speed easily. Say a coworker sends you a 2-page policy and asks what changed, you paste it, you ask, you have your answer before NotebookLM would finish importing. That instant start feeling is why the chat box is most people's reflex, and honestly, for small one-off tasks, the reflex is correct. But here's the loop I want you to hold on to for later rounds. The chatbot starts with nothing and you feed it per conversation. Nothing is remembered as your material. Try this week. Next time you paste a doc into a chat, notice how you repaste it, or bits of it, 3 messages later. That refeeding is invisible now. It becomes the whole story once your pile of documents gets big. Round 2. Learning curve. NotebookLM asks you to think in a slightly new way, and that trips people up at first. It's not a chat that forgets, it's a workspace you organize. You have sources on one side, a chat in the middle, and saved notes you build up over time. The first day, I kept treating it like a chatbot and wondering where my old answers went. Then it clicked that good notes are something you deliberately save, not something that just scrolls by. Once that clicked, the tool got dramatically more useful. There are also built-in moves worth learning early. It can generate a summary, a study guide, or an audio overview that turns your sources into a spoken deep dive. Small learning tax, real payoff. Try this week. After you load your sources, don't ask a question yet. Click Generate a Summary first, read it, and let the tool show you what's actually in your own pile. 9 times out of 10 it surfaces something you forgot you uploaded. The curve here is gentle, but it exists, and pretending it doesn't is how people bounce off in the first 10 minutes. Same round, the chatbot, and there's basically nothing to learn. You type, it answers, you type again. Everyone who's used any AI assistant already has the entire skill. That zero learning curve is a genuine strength, especially if you're introducing a non-technical friend to this stuff. You hand them the chat box and they're productive instantly, no concept of sources or notes to explain. But watch the trade the easy curve hides. Because there's nothing to organize, there's also nothing that accumulates. Every good answer lives inside one scrolling conversation, and when that thread gets long or you start a new one, your context is gone. I've lost great summaries this way, buried 40 messages up, or in a chat I closed and can't find. Imagine researching a topic across a whole week and having your best insights scattered across 6 different conversations with no shelf to put them on. Try this week. If you do serious work in a chatbot, start copying the answers you care about into a single doc yourself. You'll be rebuilding, by hand, the one thing NotebookLM gives you for free, a place where your material and your findings live together. Round 3. Flexibility, and this is where NotebookLM shows its edges. By design, it answers from your sources and mostly refuses to wander outside them. That's a feature 90% of the time. But when you actually want it to bring in outside knowledge, explain this contract clause using general legal context. It can get stubborn, reminding you it only knows what you loaded. I hit this while studying. I wanted the tool to connect my notes to a concept that wasn't in any source, and it politely declined. The box that keeps it honest also keeps it narrow. There's also a shape limit to what it does. It reads, summarizes, cites, and explains your material extremely well, but it's not a general do-anything assistant. It won't write you unrelated code or brainstorm a topic it has no sources for. Try this week. Deliberately ask it something just outside your uploaded material and watch how it responds. Knowing exactly where the wall is means you'll stop fighting it. You'll bring outside questions to a different tool instead of getting frustrated that the grounded notebook is, well, grounded. Same round, the chatbot, and flexibility is its home turf. It'll answer from your pasted doc. Then in the very next message, write an email, brainstorm titles, translate a paragraph, or debug a snippet of code. No sources required. There are no walls because there's no box. When I wanted my contract explained with outside legal context, the chatbot happily reasoned about it using everything it learned in training, exactly what the grounded notebook refused to do. For open-ended thinking, general questions, and just help me figure this out, this is the more flexible partner, full stop. But hold the same coin up to the light. The freedom that lets it answer anything is also what lets it answer confidently when it doesn't actually know. It'll blend your document with its training and its guesses, and it won't always tell you which is which. That becomes round 4's whole problem. Try this week. Ask a chatbot something specific about your document, then ask which part of my document says that. Sometimes you'll get a clean quote. Sometimes you'll watch it walk back and answer it stated a second ago, like, solid fact. Round 4, trust, and this is NotebookLM's knockout round. Because it only answers from your sources, nearly every answer comes with inline citations that point back to the exact spot in the exact document. You click the little number, and it jumps you to the sentence it's leaning on. That single feature changes how much you can rely on the output. When a tool shows its receipts, you can verify in 2 seconds instead of taking its word. I stopped trusting AI summaries the day one confidently invented a statistic. Grounded, cited answers are how I started trusting them again. This is also why NotebookLM scaled the way it did. According to Google's blog, back in October 2024, over 80,000 organizations were already using it, and answers you can check is a big part of why serious teams adopt it. Try this week. Ask your notebook a factual question, then actually click a citation and read the source sentence. Build the habit of verifying, not vibing. Once you've felt the difference between the AI said so, and here's the exact line it's quoting, the plain chat box starts to feel a little reckless for anything that matters. Same round, the chatbot. And here's the part nobody likes to say out loud. When you paste a document and ask about it, a good chatbot usually answers well. But it can also blend your text with its training data and, occasionally, with something it just made up, and it'll deliver all 3 in the same confident voice. There's typically no inline citation pointing at the sentence in your document, so verifying means scrolling back through the file yourself. For casual questions, fine. For a contract, a medical document, a legal deadline, anything where being wrong is expensive, that missing citation is a real risk. Imagine acting on a fact that sounded authoritative and turned out to be the model filling a gap. I've been burned by exactly that. Try this week. Whenever a chatbot gives you a fact from your document, ask it to quote the exact line. If it can, great. If it paraphrases or dodges, treat the claim as unverified until you check the source yourself. The chatbot isn't lying to you on purpose. It just wasn't built to stay strictly inside your documents the way a grounded notebook is. Round 5. Failures. Where does NotebookLM actually let you down? First, it's only as good as what you feed it. Upload a messy scan or a badly formatted PDF and it'll struggle to read cleanly because it's working from your sources, not from magic. Second, big uploads take time to process, and if your document is enormous, you'll feel that weight up front. Third, and this catches people, if you update a source outside NotebookLM, the notebook can hold the older version until you resync it, so you might get answers from a stale copy without realizing. That one bit me. I edited a Google Doc, kept asking questions, and got yesterday's numbers. Try this week. Before you trust a big answer, glance at your sources and confirm the notebook is reading the current version, not a snapshot from 3 edits ago. None of these are deal breakers. They're just the honest rough edges of a tool that anchors itself to fixed sources. Knowing them means you'll set it up right, clean files, current versions, instead of blaming the tool for problems you accidentally fed it. Same round, the Chatbot, and its big failure has a name I use, the context cliff. Every chat can only hold so much in its working memory at once. Paste in a huge document, or let a conversation run really long, and older material quietly falls off the edge. The scary part is it doesn't warn you. It just starts answering as if the early pages, or the first half of your thread, were never there. I've watched a chatbot confidently summarize a report while silently ignoring the section I most needed, because that section had scrolled out of its window. The second failure is the flip side of round 4. With no citations, a wrong answer looks exactly like a right one. Try this week. If you must analyze a long document in a chatbot, split it into clearly labeled chunks and ask about one chunk at a time and restate the key facts you need it to remember. It's clunky, but it keeps things from falling off the cliff. This is precisely the problem a grounded notebook is built to avoid. Your sources stay loaded, whole, and referenceable, instead of scrolling into the void. Round 6. Verdicts. Reach for NotebookLM when you have a real body of material you'll return to, a course, a research project, a contract, a knowledge base, and you need answers you can trust and check. It shines when the documents are fixed, the stakes are real, and show me the exact source matters. It's also quietly great for learning. The Audio Overviews feature turns your own sources into a spoken deep dive, and according to Google's blog from January 2026, those overviews now support more than 50 languages, so studying from your material in your language is genuinely on the table. Try this week. Take the subject you're trying to actually learn, load your best sources, and generate an audio overview to listen to on a walk. That's the use case where this tool pulls away from a chatbot completely. If your work is research, study, or anything where being wrong is costly, NotebookLM isn't just a nicer chat. It's a different category of tool, built to keep you anchored to what your documents actually say instead of what an AI guesses they might. Choose the plain chatbot when the job is fast, small, or open-ended. One short document and a quick question? Paste and go. NotebookLM's setup isn't worth it. Brainstorming, writing, translating, general help me think. The chatbot's flexibility wins, because it isn't boxed into your sources. It's also the right first tool for anyone new to all this. Zero learning curve, instant results, no concepts to explain. And here's my honest secret. I didn't pick one. I use both, on purpose. Quick throwaway questions and creative work go to the chatbot. Anything I'll return to, anything with fixed sources, anything where a wrong answer costs me, that goes into a notebook where every claim shows its receipts. The duel was never really tool versus tool. It's task versus task, and the pro move is knowing which task you're actually holding. Try this week. The next time a pile of files lands on you, pause for 2 seconds and ask, is this a quick question or a body of work I'll come back to? That single question tells you which tool to open, and you'll stop forcing the wrong one to do a job it was never built for. So here's the honest scoreboard. The chatbot wins setup speed, flexibility, and zero learning curve. NotebookLM wins trust, organization, and staying anchored to your real sources. Every answer with a citation you can click. Neither one is the best AI tool. They're built for different jobs, and the smartest thing you can do is stop asking which is better and start asking which fits the pile of files in front of you right now. Quick reminder on anything with a number, limits, source counts, plan tiers. Always check Google's official pages, dated today, because those change, and a video is the wrong place to trust them. If breaking tools down like this, honestly, no hype so you can actually use them, is your thing, subscribe because that's the whole channel. And I genuinely want to know, what's the pile of documents you'd point one of these at first? A course, a contract, a year of your own notes? Tell me in the comments which tool you'd open for it and why. I read them, and the best ones usually turn into the next video. See you in the next round.